yeah, so this is a story we covered a while ago. So the US export restrictions, obviously this is a political thing where to, I guess, put a halt to China's AI development. So they're restricting what you can sell in terms of like hardware and power. Like, if it passes a certain threshold in terms of what this hardware is capable of.
Yeah.
And for AI, we're talking about graphics cards. Then it can no longer be sold to the Chinese market.
It's insane. It's like a bomb.
Yeah, and so when those restrictions were in place, like it doesn't specify, products. Like, it's like with any sort of like ban, it's like they set it to like, if it over this amount of teraflop performance or whatever the measurement is, it can't be sold. And, the 4090 actually entered that realm, which is crazy because it, solidifies it as a gaming GPU that's way ahead of anything else. Like the 4080 and AMD's top GPUs like don't get anywhere near close to the threshold of that restriction.
Being bannable.
Yeah. And so there was a little bit of back and forth, it was like, is the 4090 going to be banned because it's not really a like a workstation GPU. It's not designed for AI crunching. But it has been, so basically as of now, the 4090 no longer exists on NVIDIA's website in China. So like, there's the 40 series and there were even like benchmarks, right? So like where you would see, performance of the 4070, 4080, 4090. They've redone those benchmarks to remove the 4090. The 4080, like, so that, like it's scrubbed from their website.
Wow.
So what has happened though, apparently, is that a lot of partners have sent a whole bunch of stock of 4090s to China in the last few weeks because they knew this was happening. And the word is that stock from like other countries has been redirected to China in the past month or so because of the ban coming into place. So what's happened is that there is no chance of being able to get a 4090, even with like, because it's Black Friday sales are on at the moment, right?
Yeah, it's
sales
perfect time to pick one.
You can get like GPUs, for obviously not drastically cut down prices, but like discounted, like, pretty much any GPU you'll be able to find a discount, but you won't find it on the 4090. In fact, you won't find a 4090 even at MSRP of $1,599 US, like, or anything close to that. Most 4090s, if you can find them in the US, are now well over 2,000 US.
Oh my God.
4090s in China are being sold for like double the retail price now, but there's still stock, like you can buy them. So it's not like there isn't any, it's just that it's become like this hot ticket item now.
Yeah, the banning making it
makes it
it makes it appear exclusive, even though there is stock around.
Yes,
which creates the demand for it. It's like, oh wait, you can't get it, but you really can. So, what's going to happen? Well, with the massive influx of GPUs into China, all of the local computer stores are they allowed to sell them still? Even though that it is now banned. So, like, where is all this stock going?
It's an export ban, right? So, the US government has no control over what. This is my assumption. Like, they like the Chinese government will be like, yeah, sell whatever you want in terms of like, 4090s. We don't care. It's like an export ban, so they can't send anymore. So, like, a company like or NVIDIA or one of their partners, like, Asus or whoever, won't be able to actually send 4090 stocks to
I understand that. I was talking about local stores in China.
Yeah, they can sell them. Yeah, if they got them, they can sell them.
Oh, okay.
It's an export ban,
right?
So what I'm trying to say is that like there's a restriction on being able to send them to the country.
Yeah,
but if they're in the country, like they have no control over what's being sold. Or
it just seems like very China to just go in, just storming your local MSY. It's like, give me your 4090s. It would be crazy. That would be crazy for a gaming card.
Yeah, and it's happening at a time when like there's the super GPUs coming supposedly in January. So 4080 supers, and we talked about that last week. The confusing naming of that.
Oh yeah,
and apparently
very cool naming.
They're going to be replacing existing GPUs. So one of the other stories is that they're actually going to be not going to be making or not going to be selling 4080s anymore. That will just be replaced by the 4080 Super for all intents and purposes.
So what happens when I don't know let's say mid-level card reaches 4090 performance? I know we're a long way off that, but if 4090 performance is the restriction line where, you know, if performance goes above this line, then it's banned. It's like, what happens when NVIDIA's stack of cards, the mid-range, reaches the 4090 performance? What, they're just not going to be able to sell any cards in China anymore? What percentage of NVIDIA's revenue is from the Chinese market?
Well, you would say like a big chunk. Like, I mean, it would have to be. I mean, they're one of the biggest markets in the world, you would think.
Yeah.
I mean, just based on population and...
And what, does this go for server cards as well?
The main thing. Pardon?
Does this go for server cards as well? You know how we were in Taiwan? Yeah. How we saw that when we were at NVIDIA HQ. What was it called? Hopper.
The Grace Hopper.
Yeah, where it's like you can essentially, and I don't, I'm probably going to
this is where it gets...
bastardize this, but like Hopper Tech, you're able to link GPUs together to essentially create one big GPU.
That's right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and the power of that is like...
But I mean, legions. Yeah. Legions more than the 4090. So what? Like... I don't understand that.
Yeah, and this is where it gets confusing, right? So there is like a workstation version of the 4090. It's called the RTX 6000 Ada GPU. And it basically has similar specs, but it's like one of those workstation GPU, which is like a blower fan. It's supposed to go into a server rack. It has double the memory, has more cores, but it's not clocked as fast because it's not for gaming. It's got more memory and even like more specs. That GPU is obviously created by NVIDIA and like maybe one or two other companies that maybe license it. I don't know. Like workstation GPUs, it's not like there's dozens of brands like there are like, you know, MSI and you know, PNY and Galax and, you know, there's Colorful and you can just, there's heaps of them that are making GPUs for gaming. So anyway, so this GPU is still listed on their Chinese website. Now that might be just because they've still got stock there and they're going to sell it. But those are workstation GPUs that are being sold for, you know, like already like just their MSRPs are like, you know, $6,000-$7,000 US because they're the workstation ones. For some reason, you know, workstation GPUs just way more expensive than gaming GPUs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see because it also means that whatever is currently in development has to be in development under the assumption that it's not going to be sold in the region.
That is true.
For flagship successors and things like that. So
absolutely.
Like let's say the 5080, or let's say the 5070 is as powerful as, like you're saying, that's
the 4090,
right? It matches like the 4090, which probably not going to be the case, but let's say it does, then that's automatically, technically on the list.
Or the 5070 Super.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like that's getting a bit closer to that perf. But yeah, that's this really does affect their entire roadmap. Well, it depends on how much of their revenue is from China. And like we were saying, it wouldn't be a small chunk. I feel like it'd be considerable. Yeah. This could stunt the growth of NVIDIA depending on how big that market is.
Exactly. It might even like factor into like how, but also like it's weird because then it's like, well, if it's too powerful, then why bother making something double that performance if it's going to be that controversial?
Because we need more frames, Costa. That's why.
We need the
we need more. We need more frames, and we need higher resolutions. That's why. We don't stop for no one. I want 25% performance every generation. That's what I want. I don't want to get like to the 5000 series.
Yeah.
And then the 6000 series is just going to be like 10% performance hike on each of the respective cards because China can't, because we've hit a ceiling. Because China's this is a weapon. Chill out. I'm just trying to play like Diablo 4 at 4,000 FPS. at 4K. That's all I'm trying to do.
Exactly.
They're
I'm
like,
just running the AI
that's a
in the
weapon. Yeah. 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 No,
But-
this is very interesting for the
Like,
entire
whether or not it's-
GPU space.
Yeah, like whether or not it's going to affect things. So, like what we know of the 5090 now, which I mean, there's always leaks about the 5090 and
yeah.
people talking about it but like the word is that it's not out till 2025,
Yeah.
but it might be like early 2025 because usually there's a 2-year cycle. So apparently there won't be a next gen GPU series next year. It'll be the Super Series is going to carry the GeForce for another year.
Yeah.
But the 5090, there's room. Well, the rumors are that it's going to use, the 3 nanometer TSMC, the most high-end node, the one that Apple's using, which makes sense, obviously, because that's the next gen, most powerful or
Where else are
most
they going to
cutting-edge node. And it's going to use GDDR7 memory. That it's going to be insanely fast and efficient. And there's already rumors that the 5090 will be double the performance of the 4090.
That's
and
crazy.
to be honest, like let's say that came out next year, there's no need for it. I mean, as good as it would be,
we can start playing 8K games.
yeah, and its DisplayPort
That's where
2.1 is going to be supported finally,
Okay.
which should have been in
Finally.
the 40 series
Yeah.
if we're being completely honest, because that's the only way you can get like proper 8K.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that even 8K gaming is even being brought into the conversation is
But
crazy.
do you need 8K gaming for PC?
I don't know. Of course
because
I do.
let's say it's
I do. I need it. I need it.
but like if it's if
I want it.
99% of PC gamers are playing on like a monitor, and you're that close,
Yeah, it doesn't
like
matter.
where you're gonna get like an 8K, like 27-inch 8K screen.
No, I don't even know if you can. I'm pretty sure you can't shrink the pixels
You can't get the
any
pixels
smaller
up
than
somewhere.
32 inch for 8K displays. At least
Okay.
that's to my knowledge. Like the freaking bulb on the pixel itself can't get any smaller. They're going to need new technology. Maybe mini LEDs might be able to do that. I'm not sure, but the last time I checked, 32 inch was the smallest monitor that you can get for 8K.
Yeah, that's why I've been disappointed with like projectors in the last 5 or 6 years, because projector is a massive screen, but like the chip, the LCD chips, like that has to fit the pixels on like this tiny little thing, and it's just so difficult to create like a 4K projector, an affordable one that isn't like the size of like a TV on its own.
Something
Like,
that's obnoxious.
An 8K projector is like going to be ridiculous. So
Yeah, it's IMAX. You get into cinema level projectors.